Canada has long been one of the most attractive destinations for international students. Known for its multicultural society, high-quality education system, safe cities, and welcoming immigration policies, the country has consistently ranked among the top choices for students worldwide. By 2024, over 1 million international students were studying in Canada, an all-time record. These students came not only from major sending countries like India, China, Nigeria, and the Philippines, but also from smaller nations in Latin America, the Middle East, and Africa. They contributed billions of dollars to the Canadian economy, supported local businesses, and often filled part-time jobs that helped sustain industries like retail and hospitality. But with growth came challenges. Rising housing costs, pressure on healthcare services, and job competition led to a heated public debate. Politicians, institutions, and communities began asking a key question: how many international students is too many? In response, Canada introduced new student visa policies in 2025, rules that fundamentally change the way students apply, qualify, and live in the country. For some, these reforms are necessary to bring balance. For others, they represent a harsh tightening that could damage Canada's global reputation as a student-friendly nation. This documentary-style script explores the background of student visas in Canada, the new rules introduced in 2025, the politics and economics driving these decisions, and most importantly, the impact on international students, universities, and the future of Canada's education sector. Background of Canada's student visa policy. To understand why the 2025 reforms were introduced, we must first trace the journey of Canada's student visa system over the past decades. 1. Growth of international education in Canada. In the 2000s, Canada began actively promoting itself as an alternative to the US and UK. The country's policies allowed students not only to study but also to work part-time and later transition into permanent residency, PR. This made Canada uniquely attractive. Students saw it not just as a study destination, but as a potential home. 2. The role of the study permit. A Canadian study permit is more than just a visa, it's the gateway to opportunity. Traditionally, the process involved admission to a designated learning institution, DLI, proof of sufficient funds for tuition and living costs, medical checks and background verification. Unlike some countries, Canada allowed study permit holders to work up to 20 hours per week, later increased temporarily to 40 hours during labour shortages. Bring their dependents, with spouses eligible for open work permits. Apply for a post-graduation work permit, PGWP, leading to PR opportunities. 3. The boom years between 2016 and 2023, Canada saw an unprecedented surge in international student enrollment. Key reasons included uncertainty in the US due to Trump-era immigration policies, stricter rules in the UK, especially around dependents, rising demand in India and Nigeria for overseas education, aggressive marketing by Canadian colleges and private institutions. By 2023, the number of international students exceeded 1 million. While this boosted the economy, contributing over $22 billion annually, it also created problems. Housing shortages, students struggled to find affordable accommodation. Fraud and exploitation. Some private colleges were accused of misusing the system. Pressure on services. Cities like Toronto, Vancouver, and Brampton saw overcrowding. 4. Calls for reform. The Canadian government faced growing criticism. Media headlines warned of a broken system. Public opinion shifted, with some Canadians believing international students were driving up rents and competing for jobs. By 2024, the government signaled that big changes were coming in 2025 to restore integrity to the system. Student visa changes. 2025 explained. The 2025 reforms mark a turning point in Canada's approach to international education. The government emphasized that the goal was not to shut the door on students, but to ensure the system remains sustainable, fair, and credible. Here are the key changes introduced in 2025. 1. Stricter cap on student numbers. Canada announced a cap on the number of study permits issued annually. Provinces received specific quotas based on housing capacity and labour market needs. This means fewer students overall, with priority given to higher quality programs and institutions. 2. Higher financial proof requirements. Previously, students had to show around 10,000 Canadian dollars in living funds. In 2025, this requirement nearly doubled to $20,00025,000 CAD, depending on the province. The goal: ensure students can support themselves without relying heavily on part-time jobs. 3. Work hour adjustments. The temporary 40-hour work allowance, introduced during labour shortages, was rolled back. Students can now work 24 hours per week during studies, slightly more than the old 20-hour rule, but not full-time. During scheduled breaks, full-time work is still permitted. 4. Dependents and family members. Tighter rules now limit which students can bring dependents. Only postgraduate students in research-focused programs, e.g., PhD, can easily bring spouses and children. Undergraduate and diploma students generally cannot bring dependents. 5. Post-graduation work permit, PGWP. Reform. The PGWP remains, but only students at recognized, high-quality institutions are eligible. Graduates of questionable private colleges may no longer qualify. 6. Crackdown on fraudulent institutions. Dozens of private colleges were investigated and some shut down for misusing the student visa system. The government introduced a trusted institution list, giving preference to universities and accredited colleges. 7. Application processing and biometric rules. Applications now face more scrutiny. Biometric checks, tighter background verification, and interviews are more common. Politics behind the decision. Immigration policy is rarely just about numbers. It's also about politics and public perception. 1. Housing crisis pressure. Canada's housing crisis dominated headlines in 2023 to 24. With students arriving in record numbers, rental prices soared, especially in cities like Toronto and Vancouver. Politicians argued that reducing student intake was necessary to ease housing demand. 2. Economic balance. While international students bring revenue, critics claimed many were exploited in low-wage jobs, creating a shadow labour market. The government wanted to ensure students focused on studying, not just working. 3. Public sentiment polls showed many Canadians believed immigration levels were too high. Politicians, under pressure from voters, saw student visas as a controllable area to demonstrate action. 4. Political messaging. The ruling government framed the 2025 reforms as restoring integrity and protecting Canada's reputation. Opposition parties were divided. Some supported the reforms, others warned of damage to universities and the economy. Impact on international students. The reforms hit students the hardest. 1. Financial burden. Higher proof of funds requirements mean many middle-class families, especially from South Asia and Africa, struggle to qualify. Students now need far more savings upfront. 2. Family separation. Undergraduate and diploma students can no longer bring dependents, creating emotional strain. Spouses who previously relied on open work permits are excluded. 3. Job limitations. The reduced work hour cap means students can earn less to support themselves. Many worry they cannot cover rent and tuition without family support. 4. Mental health challenges. Isolation, financial pressure, and family separation are leading to growing mental health concerns among international students. 5. Shift in preferences. Competing countries like Australia, the UK, and Germany may attract students who feel Canada is closing its doors. Impact on universities and colleges in Canada. Universities and colleges are on the front line of this change. 1. Enrollment decline. With quotas and stricter requirements, enrollment numbers are expected to drop. Smaller private colleges face the biggest threat, as they rely heavily on international students. 2. Financial strain. International students often pay 3 to 4 times higher tuition fees than domestic students. A decline in numbers could cost institutions billions in revenue. 3. Reputation at risk. Canada's image as a welcoming destination may suffer. Universities fear they will lose ground to global competitors. 4. Quality control. On the positive side, the crackdown may improve quality by removing fraudulent institutions. Students who do come may have a more genuine academic experience. Reactions from students, communities and institutions. The reform sparked mixed reactions. Students, many protested, arguing the rules are unfair and discriminatory. Social media campaigns like #SaveCanadaDream gained traction. Universities, lobby groups demanded the government reconsider caps, warning of financial damage. Employers, some businesses worried about labour shortages in retail and hospitality, where students form a vital workforce. Communities, while some residents welcomed the changes, others felt they were too harsh and risked Canada's diversity. 1. Economic impact. Canada risks losing billions in tuition and consumer spending. Labour shortages in certain sectors may worsen. 2. Global competition. Students may choose Australia, Germany, or the UK, which could gain from Canada's stricter rules. 3. Family separation issues. Emotional and psychological toll on students without dependents. 4. Canada's reputation. Canada's image as the most welcoming destination may fade. The Canada Student Visa 2025 reforms are a turning point. For the government, they represent integrity and sustainability. For students, they represent obstacles and heartbreak. The ultimate question remains, will Canada balance its domestic pressures with its global commitment to education and migration, or will it risk losing its place as a top destination for international students? As 2025 unfolds, the answer will shape not just policies, but the lives of thousands of students worldwide. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. That's it for today. If you found this helpful, hit the like button and make sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next one.